And we are live. Right, okay. So, on my wee screen here, I can see. Oh, shit. Robert's mic and cam already in use. Ask them to close all apps and tabs and refresh. Right, I'll just get rid of that because you're okay. I can hear you alright. Where is the. There's a wee tab that came up to show me. Because we need to know who's come on. If anybody's on, this is our first time going live. And it's probably going to be a disaster. I was just on myself a minute ago in the dark. Talking to myself for a wee bit. That's alright. Right, you need to be able to. Right, okay, so there's one. I think there's one person on right now. I've got this wee thing up here. I don't know how we are going to get access to the texts, mate. Like if somebody's messaging, I don't know how we're going to get that to work. Because this is the first time that we've done it. Because it's not through. This isn't through straight through YouTube. This is through Riverside, which is a platform that we use. And obviously we want to be able to see if you are sending messages in. And I don't know how we are going to do that. Anyway, Robert, right, let's get started. Now that it's not a black screen, we've got 3 people watching, which is amazing. Thank you. This is our first live, guys. We are this is Robert and Mark from YTC.
Aye.
We've been down to 1. 2 people have bailed already. I love that. What we're going to do is we are going to talk a wee bit about the waiting list that we've got at Celtic Park, and then obviously I think that will move on to the development of Parkhead, or the lack of development of Parkhead, if you want to put it into better words. So the big issue for me as a Celtic fan is we have 18,000 people waiting on the opportunity to come and watch Celtic at Celtic Park, right? Robert, I'll bring you in a wee minute, right? I want to just tell a story about how this waiting list is affecting people. We are all Celtic fans, right? And we talk Celtic, we think Celtic, we sleep Celtic, and that's our life, right? That's what happens. Not being able to go and watch Celtic is a big thing for people. If you've not got a season ticket, it's a really big thing, and you've got 18,000 people in this position. But one of my friends who had a season ticket with his wee boy, and cancelled it because his wee guy wasn't ready for it and wasn't into it. Realised he'd made a mistake pretty sharp, and went back in the waiting list, and that was like 5 years ago. What happened about a month ago was he's on quite a few Facebook Celtic sites, and somebody had posted on there that there was 3 season tickets available, and if you wanted them, to contact them directly, which he done. And then what they said was they'd paid the first instalment of 4. I've got a really itchy nose, sorry, not picking my nose by the way. I've got they paid the first instalment of 4, and what to do is give them the money for that, give them the details, and then what happens is they'll transfer the tickets over, and then the rest of the money goes to Celtic. They have to pay Celtic, take over the contract, like what you would do if you're paying instalments, right? Paid a deposit to these people of 250 quid, but they were scammers, right? They were absolute scammers, and see, when he talked me through it, an absolute mug for doing it, right? Because it was a clear scam. But my point I'm getting at here is the desperation to get your season ticket back, because that's what it was. It was a desperation to get your season ticket back, to go and watch Celtic again, like every second week. He knew it was a scam, but was hoping that he could actually, it wasn't, And it was, and he got bumped to a 250 quid, and that was just stupid. But my point with that is, there's so many people, like these 18,000 people, who are desperate to get to watch Celtic, and it's a travesty, you know. I just think it's a horrible thing. We've got 53,000 season ticket holders, Robert, at Parkhead, right? So the rest must go out to away allocation and also your general sale. But the amount of people that are on the waiting list is phenomenal. I know that we've been speaking about it before. What's your thoughts on the whole waiting list?
Hi guys, how are we? Honest, this is a total coincidence we're wearing the same tops. So it's really
Only
good.
different pick for you. We only different pick for you.
Absolutely. Um, to answer your question, I think just relating to your story there, times are tough for a lot of people. Let's not beat about the bush here. And going to see Celtic or any other sporting venue, it could be expensive. Let's not kid ourselves. So I can see there is some sort of desperation with a lot of people if they've been a previous ticket holder and they're looking to get back on the waiting list or get their some sort of ticket back to go and take the kids if they've got sons and daughters, or even if it's going to be a friend's day out, just to go and see the team. So I know it can be quite expensive. But my thought process with this is just making sure, because you know yourself, it's been discussed over a few years about the main stand development, and I think a lot of people were saying that they didn't want to change the facade of the building, and they're just going to build on top of it. And is it going to be another 7,000-8,000 seats? But you'll know yourself, Mark. I don't know if you're aware, but I think a lot of the improvement at the moment is through the corporate or the hospitality bit. Is that right?
Yeah, Brian was talking about this. I didn't know it until Brian mentioned it in his video. So what Brian was saying was Celtic are, which actually is a kick in the balls, right? If this is true, and this is just how I feel, but other people might feel different, right? But I think it's a kick in the balls if Celtic are going to go and redevelop the corporate boxes and all of that for people who have got lots of money. To obviously they want to generate more money, right? Because they're going to charge them more money. I couldn't afford a corporate box.
There is a revenue there.
I know, but it's not for you or me, and it's not for the guy in the street. It's not for these 18,000 people that are on the waiting list. It's for the guys who have
Correct.
got money to burn, and that doesn't sit right with me. So it was good information for Brian actually, but I wasn't aware of that. But if that's true, it's to me it's a slap in the face.
No, I totally understand and agree with you. It's no fair, sorry, for the Joe Blogs in the street like me and you. And you know yourself, if you get a chance to get a ticket, say the average man, maybe his son or a daughter, or two sons or two daughters, and they get a book or a ticket, it could be well over, including if the kids want a programme or some sweets or anything else, it could be well over £100, £120 a day out.
Right? Aye.
So it could be expensive. But no, I totally understand where you're coming from.
For a burnt pie, or a fucking hot dog. Eli loves a hot dog, so he's like, get me a hot dog, and I'm like, see when you look at the price of the hot dogs, you're like, oh my god, even a bar of chocolate, it's phenomenal. So that
Aye.
that bugs me, right? And I think Celtic haven't looked at it hard enough from a Celtic fan's perspective, and obviously also, sorry, from a commercial perspective and how they can generate a hell of a lot more money. The next thing that actually leads us on, a couple of things I want to talk about, right, is that's the first thing, right, and the whole thing's a big picture. So people watching will get this if they listen to what we're saying, right? But there's 18,000 people on that waiting list. Rangers do something that Celtic don't, right? And it pisses me off to say that they do something that's actually viable for what Celtic should be doing. And it's the ticket exchange. They've got a ticket exchange system in place, right? Where You think about the average guy, right? You get your season ticket. You're not making every match. You're not. Could be your son or your daughter's got a party. Your wife can't take them. You need to go. Could be you need to go work. Could be you're not well. Could be whatever it is, right? There's so many reasons. When you look around Parkhead at times, you can see that there's empty seats. You see there's empty seats. The ticket exchange system lets Celtic fans let Celtic know, look, I'm not making it. I've got 3 tickets. Put them up for sale, and I think the Celtic fan gets the money or something. It goes towards coming off their season book or something. I can't remember how it works, right? But what happens is they tickets come available, and I can then go and purchase them, and it just means that
It's it's bums and seats. That's
aye,
that's
aye, aye.
the be all and end all. Is a an institution or a sporting institution, they need bums on seats. I totally understand, and you know yourself, if it's done viably through the exchange system, that I don't think we have. So if we've got tickets, then if you've not got tickets, then I would just speak to you and say my tickets are available. Go and take your kids, and then it would just be between me and you.
That's how it happens now. That's it, and it's kind of behind the scenes. Do you know what I mean? This way, it's up front. You've got 18,000 people. It actually satisfies. It's not going to fix the problem, right? But it gets some of the people 2 more games, because you know what it's like when tickets go on general sale. They go like that. Like, see
The
if
demand's high.
you're not, aye man. See if you're not on quick enough, the tickets are gone, and you've not got a chance. Especially if it's a decent game, right? See if it's like an Aberdeen or a Hibs or teams like that. They go really really quickly. I think the ticket exchange system would go a little way to solving that. And Michael Nicholson said a couple of years ago that Celtic would look into it, and they haven't. Or maybe they did, and they've just dismissed it, right? Because a lot of the time
I don't know if is it going to be the administrative cost of this to get this set up? Is it going to be too high? I wouldn't imagine it's going to be
nah,
an
I can't
extortionate amount of
imagine.
money to get this programme in place.
I can't imagine setting something up like that is going to cost Celtic an awful lot of money. And what it will do is show Celtic fans that they're thinking about them. Look, we know
Of
fans
course.
can't make it to Parkhead. We know there's not enough tickets that go on general sale. So when you as a season ticket holder can't make it, put your ticket up for sale. I'm pretty sure that you would get the money for it, because it's your season ticket. So if you put your season ticket up for 50 quid, if it's 2 or 3, whatever it is, you get the money, and it helps you out, and it helps Celtic fans out.
Bearing in mind that most people, if they can, if it's going to be done over maybe a 3 or 4 month period
Yeah.
to pay their full season book, or again, a lot of people, they already pay their monthly dues or whatever up front. So again, if there's a programme in place, I'm all for it, because it just helps more people experience the thrill of Celtic Park. And let's not kid ourselves. See whether, as you said there, whether it be playing Aberdeen or Motherwell or even St Mirren. See, nowadays, no game's a gimme. No game's a gimme
No.
when you feel it's a dead on cert that Celtic will go away a 2, 3, 4 goal winners. It's been proven. So I think any game, just to experience. I mean, I remember as a wee boy, one of my very very first game, and a lot of people watching this hopefully can experience this as well, or associate it. I remember going up the stairs into the stadium, and as you
Aye.
got to the top, whether you be with your uncle or your dad or your brothers or family, and see, as soon as you saw that pitch and in live, it gave you goosebumps. And see, for the average man that can take a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and 7-year-old, that they can experience, it's an experience, they'll never forget it.
No.
They'll never forget it. I certainly haven't, and I never will.
No, I think the old Celtic Park. I've got fond memories of it. I've got fond memories of the Celtic end. Going up with the Celtic end. I remember an Aberdeen game, and I must have been tiny. because it was scorching and it went up, and you've been through the old turnstiles, and it's just the steps. Remember the old ground? It was just the steps, and it was
Yep.
scorching, and it's like the stadium was enormous, but it was the old stadium, and it was cracking, and I've got fond memories of the
The
jungle as
jungle
well.
area, right?
The jungle straight on to your right.
Straight. Yep.
And then I remember I used to go to European games when I was wee. I used to just go on the bus. I lived in either Springburn or Maidhill. I used to just duke up on the bus. I'm used to go in twos, like pay one and just the twos will go through. And I remember
Yep.
remember the Neuchâtel Xamax game. Joe Miller scored. I'll never forget it. Don't
Joe
know
Milton.
why. Aye, I remember wee Joe Miller scoring, and I was in the jungle, and it was packed. And I remember Celtic scoring, right, and it was late on in the game. I'm sure it was late on in the game, and we were done. And I remember getting lifted up by people, and it was like just get back and forward. And I'll never forget that in the old Parkhead. But like those days are gone. It's Parkhead's a fully seated stadium, and to cater for people who like these 18,000 people who keep talking about, they need to do something. They need to do something, right. We've just been talking, for people who've just joined, we've been talking briefly about ticket exchange system. Celtic don't have a ticket exchange system, and we think that's maybe an option. If you're watching and you've got a view on it, just pop something in the comments, eh? The next thing I'm going to pick your brains on, Robert, is the main stand, right? We have got a 60,000 all-seater stadium that was built, or it was redeveloped in the late 90s. Was it the late 90s? Was the late 90s, wasn't
Yep.
it? The main stand, I think, was created, I think it was first 1920, 1930, redeveloped in, I think it was 70s I was reading, and then again in the 90s.
It's changed 3 or 4
Aye,
times.
aye. We have got an opportunity as a football club, but as a business as well. I don't get it. I don't get it. The only thing that I can see, right, Celtic have got an opportunity to turn a 60,000 seater stadium into a 75 or 80,000 seater stadium, right? Which would, one, enable us to hold Champions League finals, right? There's UEFA rules that I think it's the size of the stadium. I was reading it earlier. You have to be at a certain size or whatever it is for that to happen, right? It then lets us, as a football club, be able or be in the running to hold some of these big tournaments, right? But the second thing is, it solves that 18,000 fans who are sitting in turmoil trying to get a ticket. It solves that problem. For me, one of the problems is, and I'll let you come in and chat about this in a wee second, right? One of the big problems is, what do they do during that time? Because if they are redeveloping the main stand, the main Parkhead has to shut. They can't redevelop the main stand and keep the rest of Parkhead open. In my opinion, they
I mean,
can't do that.
well, I remember in the 90s when the whole thing, when they were building the whole north stand and the whole stadium, and the
Yeah.
only thing it was there was the main stand. And I mean, I visited it once or twice, and I remember going to the Janefield end, and it was just a pile of rubble. So I do remember that. But as I say, it's been discussed several times over the years about the main stand development, and they were looking for an extra to make it a two-tier stadium, or stand, sorry. But as you quite rightly says, there is financial and logistical issues regards to that. So can it or will it be a 75 to 80,000 stadium, seater stadium? So do you know? Again, guys will comment on this as well. Are we when you're talking about FIFA rules or UEFA rules? Are we a 5-star stadium at the moment?
No.
So these are the questions, or these are the things that need to be answered going forward. So as you quite rightly says in a previous video, the financial cost is going to be estimated, or I think it was either yourself or Brian, 100
100
million.
and up. Aye, 100.
So that's no small change. That's
No.
no small change at all. But as you quite rightly says, is logistical playing there if work gets underway. So apparently, I read somewhere earlier there, if the work is going to get sanctioned and it's going to be put underway round about 2030, if it's a goer.
Ah,
So they're looking at around about 2030.
20, 30,
Um,
5 years.
yep, yep. So
Where
that's
would you see
that's the
that?
estimated. It was one of the other articles I read. Whether
Right.
that's true or not, I don't know. If it's going to go ahead, but as I say, as you quite rightly says, the fans want it.
They
There's
need it, mate.
these these 18 to 20,000 people on the waiting list. It's a 5 year waiting list as it is. You, you can't. There's no sustainability there. There's there's no sustainability there. Something needs to happen.
Just had a wee message in from, it just says ticket exchange would be brilliant. If it was a way of recouping the price of the game, obviously you'd need a system where you'd have two people on your ticket or card that could easily be identified. I do like the ticket exchange option, and we spoke about that earlier on in the live feed. I think we know Rangers do it right, and it's the only club that I'm thinking that I know about in Scotland to do it. I don't know if any other club would ever need to do it in Scotland, true enough. But as Robert and I said, and I agree with what you're saying, it's an easy way for recouping the price. It would help you get some money back if you can't go. If you can't go 4 games, if you're sick, if you're taking the kids to whatever parties, like people are busy, they can't always make the games. I think the ticket exchange is an option Celtic really should look at. And if the guy Michael Nicholson's went and looked at this 2 years ago, fuck's sake, two
Why
years
is it
ago,
not in place?
aye,
Why is it not in place? It
it's,
should it should be because, as I said earlier, they need bums and seats or new bums and seats. Everybody at some stage in their life needs to experience Celtic Park. They just need to. And I know I'm being biased there,
no,
but
no,
it's
no.
phenomenal.
The
It's
sad,
phenomenal.
the sad thing is, right, about where we are as a club. You need to wait for somebody to die, or you need to wait for somebody to get into financial difficulty. It's the same as my golf club. I said this in my one of my videos. It's exactly the same as my golf club, right? You don't get in unless somebody unfortunately dies, or somebody gets into a bit of trouble with money and can't afford it. That's not really, like, you take it. If it happens and your ticket comes up, you take it, but that's not really what you want. For me,
No, no. Years ago, it used to be it's the same way. It used to be the fire service. When you're a wee boy, you want to get into the fire service. You need to wait for somebody to retire or pass just so you
aye,
become a fireman. It's
that's
no, I
that,
totally
that's
understand. It's
that's what it is for us. So like I said, and we're a new channel, right? If you're not a subscriber to our channel, we are YTCSC, and we're new to this. We've just broke through 400 subscribers today. 408, I think we're on now. So if you're not subscribed, please go on. We're looking to try and push it to 5. Um, I forgot my train of thought there. What was I talking about? Somebody's message and I was reading the message. This is our first live, so we'll get better at this, right? We'll get better. Obviously, a South Stand upgrade by 5 to 10,000 would be epic. But if you can't go, why not go 20 quid in your pocket and give a trusted person? Yeah, 100%. 100%. If you can't
definitely.
get the stadium upgraded, the ticket exchange is the way. And I don't understand why Celtic haven't done it. Robert was mentioning, is there a cost to it? Who cares if there's a cost to it? Celtic should be putting that cost up. Maybe even taking, if there's a cost to it, take a quid off each ticket transfer to eventually
Hmm.
recoup it. If you're consistently doing that, then they can get their money back. Surely to God. But the stadium upgrade for me is the way forward. I can't believe they're talking about 2030. That's an awful long time. For me, Brian, actually, one of our colleagues who does the channel as well, made a very, very good point, right? £100 million is a lot of money for Celtic, right? It's a lot of money for any football club, but Celtic in Scotland, when you look at our balance book, we have got quite a lot of money, but it's taken us a long time to get there. It's taken Celtic being super shrewd in everything that they do. They've not got £100 million to spend. So, but there's different ways of doing it. There's ways of um, getting in and maybe talking about uh, a company coming in and actually what do you call the what's the thing that's in my brain again? There's another message come in. I've just pure sponsorship. Somebody coming in and taking the name of taking the name or something, and giving you a load of money. There's different ways of doing it.
It's endorsements. You need it
Aye,
helps with endorsements as well. Sponsorships, endorsements. A lot of these teams in Europe, the sponsorship and endorsement deals are phenomenal. But again, Celtic is a global brand. I'm
yep.
pretty sure if the marketing department was to sort out that, I'm pretty sure there would be sponsorship and endorsement in the correct areas. Definitely.
I'm pretty sure a few years back Michael Nicholson was talking about fund raising or crowd funding or something. Let me just see if I can find that actually. Crowd funders talking about fans putting money in their hands in their pocket and doing something. You're doing fine, lads. Brilliant. I was away. My mind was away there. My mind totally went when I was trying to remember a couple of things. It's like try to read the message and try to talk. I'm not good at that. I'm not a woman, no multitasker, but yeah. So yeah, I don't know what the answer is. I think, but Celtic need to work it out. They need to look at how they go about this, and figure it out. For me,
No, 100%. Definitely.
I don't have long left. People, I've got my wife downstairs. She's away picking my daughter up, and I was allowed to come up and jump on this video for a wee hour, and I blew the first half hour trying to actually understand how to get logged on. So I want to actually, Robert, I want to grab you just to talk to you about. I know we've been talking about transfers constantly, right? And we have talked about that boy Benjamin Nygren. You know who I'm talking
Yep,
about,
yep,
yeah? So apparently,
yep, definitely.
yeah, the Swedish boy. What do you think of him?
hmm
You've obviously read up a wee bit and
For what I've
stuff.
seen, he scored a good few goals last season. As far as I'm led to believe, he played it. Is it Gothenburg or anyway? Is it Ghent? He had a loan spell in Holland. Apparently, he's quite versatile. Would he fit the Brendan Rodgers or the Celtic mould? Rumours are swirling that it's a less than a £2 million deal.
Yeah, he's only
The
got
talks are
25,
still
right?
ongoing. The talks are still ongoing, as I'm led to believe. But the, it's the same with pre-season. The rumours are swirling on a daily basis. I was reading, or I seen the video with the Newcastle preview because we're playing them in July, and Shay Given, and obviously Shay Given was with Celtic when he was 17,
Yeah, yeah.
18, and they let him go. But he slipped in his presser, and he's just stated that Evan Ferguson.
No buying that one, mate.
Um,
Honestly, I'm
no,
not
this
buying it.
boy's 20
I'm
years
not.
of age.
No, I'm not buying it.
This
I read that.
this boy this boy's 20 years of age, and during his presser he says Shane Given Shay Given says he needs a home, and I think Everton are in for him as well.
Aye.
But I think it's just PR. I think it's just PR. If a if a player like that came in, they would obviously try to raise the bar with partnering and Ida. But to me, I think it's just too much a risk. Um,
I don't
it's
buy
too
that
much a
one
risk.
at all, mate. I was watching
I'm
Ryan 118. He's got the same opinion. I don't buy that Celtic. One, he would cost a lot of money, right? I know they're saying 10 million, probably cost more. I think the guy's career was on the up, and then it's kind of he's been nowhere and done nothing for a
it's
wee while.
plateaued.
Yeah,
Aye,
I think the only way Celtic would get him is the Irish connection, and then it's a risk for me if you go
it's too
for
much a
Evan
risk for me.
Ferguson. I think he is. I think the boy Benjamin Nygren is a good shout, right? Apparently, he is looking at talking to us. He's choosing us over Anderlecht, and talks are ongoing with the guy's representatives, and it's not just we sites are seeing this. It's like there's
Oh,
better
sponsoring.
sites, more reputable sites that we're seeing, and more people talking about it. And it's like when we seen the transfer thing just exploded for Celtic in the last few days. You know, it just went, Celtic are looking at so many wingers and so many positions. I done a wee video in a couple of left backs that we're looking at. Josh Doig and the boy Penrice. But I think this guy is an option. Like you're saying, he's got 6 months left. Under £2 million. His stats are brilliant. He's a Swedish international. And he can play in the left wing. Is it the left wing, right wing? And he can play as a 10.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a definite option. Ryan 118 is getting the no for that. Okay, I'll not mention him again. I think this guy's
Have you heard anything more about Isaac English for Greenock?
Isaac English?
The boy's only 17.
Nah.
That came onto my radar a couple of days ago. Apparently, there's a few clubs in for him, but I think it's Greenock he's playing with. He's only 17, and I don't know how much truth the story is, but apparently it's for 50,000, and 80 odd percent of the deals were already been agreed. I don't know much more, but as I say, if anybody knows anything, any more news regards to that, please comment.
That's a B team player all day long, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, no, absolutely.
It's a B team player. The less said, the better. Brilliant. So for me, that guy, that wee boy would be a B team. But that's another. I'd love to come on here and do a live on the B team, right? On where we are with this B team. You're looking at the players that we've got leaving consistently. It's another video, right? But I'll chat about it very quickly. This Lowland League doesn't work. It gets them playing football, but it doesn't get them into the standard that we need them to be. In the main, right? In the main, anyway. You've got boys that will go like Rocco Vata and boys like that are going to England. Daniel Cummins, like we know. But in the main, nobody comes through to play for Celtic. Nobody. Sean McArdle for me is a player. Like, I'm not Brendan Rodgers, right? And I'm not a football manager, but when I seen that wee boy play, I thought, man, this wee guy's got something. Mm-hmm. Why do Celtic not bring one or two of these boys through and just give them half an hour when we're winning 2-0 or 3-0? It doesn't even have to be 2-0, it could be 3-0, game's done. Go and let them play. Bring them in and give them first team football. I know that the Infinity guys were talking about Celtic are now hooking up with Queen's Park because the Lowland League's not working. I think Celtic are looking at that now and saying the Lowland League isn't working. They're playing lots of football. They're not even winning that Lowland League, right? That tells you something. We need a better option for these guys, right? Because if you're telling me if you're telling me there's no kids that we've got in that academy that we can bring through, work a pathway out and get them into that first team, you're full of nonsense. There is a way. There's got to be a way, man. Whether that's being a wee bit more shrewd with giving them a wee bit more money, or taking a chance and not being so scared to actually play these kids in some of the games when you're 3 up. It does my head in when we're putting on players that, well, I'm going to contradict myself. I get it, right? Because these guys sit on the bench for a lot of the time, but they're bit part players some of the time. Let's get these wee guys in.
There's a guy out in loan there, John Kenny. He scored 1 goal. I mean, if you're a John Kenny, where do you see yourself in a year's time?
Yeah. Look at Lennon Miller, mate, right? Lennon Miller, I've read, he was meant to be, I need to scoot, lads, have a champion weekend. Same with yourself, mate. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Lennon Miller chose not to join Celtic to stay with Motherwell. Why did he choose not to join Celtic to stay with Motherwell? Because there's no pathway through the Celtic Academy. Because you can't play enough football. Look at what's happened to him. He's went away and played for Motherwell over 80 times. He's a first team footballer now. Celtic have missed the boat with this guy. Apparently Sunderland are coming in and readying a £10 million bid, which just blows Celtic right out the water. Right, we are not going to pay £10 million for this boy. In my opinion, we should have waited and done this business a while back and paid maybe 5 million if we could, 5-6 million, because he's one for the future. He's another. So boy, we lost for Hibs. plays for Villa. My mind's terrible today. John McGinn.
McGinn.
It's another McGinn. It's another John McGinn for me.
But would you pay a £5 million player like a Lennon Miller to sit on the bench?
But don't
That's
let
your
him sit on the
conundrum.
bench then. Why does he have to sit on the bench? That's my
Exactly.
point. Why does Lennon Miller have to sit on the bench? You can rotate. Celtic rotated when there was hundreds of games, right? See when it actually got to the point at the end of the season when there wasn't even you're at the Champions League, they just went with the same midfield three, constant, unless somebody got injured. Rotate them a wee bit. Just rotate them a wee bit. I think if you give some of these young guys that come through, give them a chance. But players like Lennon Miller, I think if you pay $5 million for him, get him in and let him play, give him some game time, man. Then rotate the team. That works for me.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Okay, mate. My missus, I've just heard her come in down the stairs, and I can hear the weeing. So I know she'll be saying to me, "Where are you?" I said to her 7:30 to 8:30 to do our first live. Took us half an hour to get our first live up. Apparently I was talking to myself with a black screen, Robert said. So if you see a black screen recording for YTSC CSE, just don't watch it, because it's me just talking to myself for a wee bit. But listen, thanks very much everybody for joining, and we are going to do more of these, and hopefully we can get you on and get a wee bit of interaction with it, okay? If you've not subscribed and you are watching, please subscribe. We're at 408. We're trying to get to 500. We're a new channel, but we won't be for long. Let's get to 500. Robert, thank you very much, my friend.
Cheers.
Catch you.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Thanks.
buddy.